Hey. All right, guys, so I decided to just come live instead of filming a video. Whether or not people come in here in the chat, it's a little bit later than normal. I just decided I was going to do a live of this so that way if there is questions, if somebody's in here, you know, they can ask it. But I'm basically going to show, Nolster sent me out a prototype of what they have for their Slim, and you guys let me know if you can hear me, I guess, too, before I get started up into it too far. And is the fan noise driving you crazy? Because I got a fan blowing on me. I might tilt it down a little. What's up? Jesus Strong, Wacky Wayland, Happy Assassin. So Nohlster sent me, I'm a big fan of Nohlster, primarily on my tape measures more than anything, but I still use them on my impacts and stuff in combination with the spider drill pin. I've told a lot of you that. So here is the original version. I've probably got like 7 or 8 of these. And then this is the newer, slimmer profile version right here. So essentially what they did was they took out, what's up, Abraham? They took out this little extra piece right here. So that's going to make it a lot slimmer. They wanted me to basically test it out on the M12 with the boot, the M12 Surge. And then he's also, I told him whenever he emailed me, I said, man, I'm telling you right now, I use mine on my tape measures. I absolutely love it. So he's also got a tape measure adapter. Hopefully I haven't lost that. It's laying around here somewhere. Oh, right here. That I'm going to try out. And this makes it a little bit more user-friendly on some tape measures that it wasn't user-friendly on before. So I'll go through those too. I was getting ready to film a video and I'm like, I'm just going to do live because it's going to take me a long time to film and edit all this. So again, Nohlster's great. So I'm going to start out with the M12 Surge. Back whenever I first got this, I had no problems with my other Nohlster. Some people had problems with it turning, but that's because I feel like mine had the boot and that was holding on to it. So basically now they've got these right here. And what this does is you have your teeth on your Nohlster. This sits in between those teeth, and that keeps it from being able to kind of rock back and forth, whereas there's nothing really on the M12 to do that. And the biggest problem with this one was the screw was so small. So what you do with this, slide it into there, and even with the boot on there, it kind of pushes it up some. But you'll see in a minute whenever I put a screw in it, it kind of works out. So I've got the regular Nohlster on my other M12. I'm gonna put the slim one on the Surge, and then you guys can see the difference on a tool, and then I'll go into the tape measures. Wacky's the #2 fan. Okay, I bought one of those during Prime. It's in the mail. So they do have a screw here that came with mine that also has a little bit bigger head on it. I always like to get the screw through the hole and then come down here. It's hard for me to get all this in the frame on a live because they don't let me zoom out, but once I get it started, I'll pull it up here. So again, once I screw this down, it's going to suck in that little metal tab. And these, I've had these for a few weeks now to kind of try out, and I finally had some time to do it. He told me that in a couple weeks they were going to have these in a limited run of some different colors and stuff, but basically you're only going to be able to buy these on Nohlster.com. So just take that in consideration too. Like, you might want to go check out Nohlster.com. I think they're having issues with Amazon. So there is the Slim on the M12 Surge. It's not rocking because it's hooked onto that metal clip that they gave me. So here it is on the M12 Impact. So you can kind of see the difference. Essentially, you're losing all this build out right here where I can almost stick my finger in there. So it's much slimmer. I think that's going to definitely be better. And again, the nice thing about the Nohlster is, I mean, you put this on something, you clip it on, it's not coming off. You can put it in your pants pocket, back pocket. I use it on my tool vest all the time. So yeah, the bigger one, like he said, can hold bits. I don't have a, I think I might have a grub nub. I don't never use the grub nub, but I think that's the whole purpose of that extra. I think I got some laying over here in a box. Yeah, so the big one, you have this thing here, and you can slide that in and hold bits in it like that, which is, I'm assuming, what they kind of took away on this version right here, which is fine by me because I like this a lot better. I don't never use these. So again, that's the M12. So I believe his name is Scott over at Nolster. It's holding strong on my boot. It's not really blocking it off. I still got plenty of room for this to fit. So I'm filming this for feedback to them, and then I'm sharing it with you guys too. I'm gonna try to keep caught up on the chat. I've got it on my iPad open over here. I like the Nolster, but my rubber bit part fell off. I haven't bought any of these. Clint, what's up, Jonathan? Hyper Assassin, is it strong? Yeah, you can't beat this as far as grips. That's why I'm gonna show it to you on my tape measures. Like every tape measure I use now has a Nolster on it. Like I absolutely won't even use one without one on it. I haven't dropped a tape measure in forever because you put this in your pocket, it's not coming off until you basically push that in and pull it out. So definitely works on the M12 Surge. Also works on the other M12s. I put that same metal bracket. It's basically one of these. Like I said, it's not so much you need it for spacing. What it does is it sets in between those little teeth on the Nolster and keeps it from being able to rock back and forth. So that works out pretty good. So let me get the slim one off and I'll show it to you, the difference on a tape measure, which is where I think it's huge. I think if there's a tape measure company out there, if you contact Nolster and say, we want to put your clip on the back of our tape measure, and you put that thing in stores and you let people use it, it will make your tape measures end up selling quite a bit more. Looks like it's adding too much to the tool. It's not really. I use it all the time and I never notice it back there. Now, I mean, if you're sticking this in some drawer or something, but it's no different than my Spider tool pen right there. I mean, it's not crazy much bigger than that one. I know you don't run tool bits, but is there a maximum thickness for it to work? It opens up about the diameter of a screwdriver, and then it can be like super thin, like really thin. I've wore it on thin pants material, so thinness isn't so much an issue. Now, if you got something super thick, it only opens up so far and then becomes a problem. Abraham. So tape measures, I run mine on this Irwin, have it on there. This is the old style. You can see how far that sticks out. I personally don't have to use an adapter with this. It's been fine for me. So if I put the slim one on there, okay, I'm buying, some say less. Let's see, that's a smaller screw. Some of these are Phillips one. And the thing you've got to do with a tape measure, because it's a little bit thicker right there than maybe the normal, so you gotta, sometimes you can just use the screw that you take out of your tape measure. Like I don't have the old Irwin clips, but let's say I took my Irwin clip off. Sometimes you can just take that same screw and stick it in there. Every now and then I've had to get a longer screw. So what he sent me was the prototype, which I'll show you here in a minute, for the shim, and then he just sent me several screws that are a little bit longer too as well. So here is the normal. That's a normal. So here's a slim going in the Irwin. So this right here is going to be awesome. Like I said, this is how I mainly use my Nolster, but I do put it on my tool if I'm working like off a ladder on my vest. So there is the slim versus there is the original. Big difference right there. And again, you definitely don't need the bit part on your tape measure So I'm not real sure, Jonathan. He sent me this. I probably had these for a couple weeks, and his letter or his email to me said, I just looked it up. He said that in a couple weeks, whenever he emailed me that he sent me these, he said they were going to have a small amount, limited runs, even with some different colors and stuff. But they're going to be on Nohlster.com. They might even be up there right now. I didn't actually go check because, like I said, I started to film a video, and I just decided I'm going to go live. So definitely slim on a tape measure. So with this is the Irwin. I don't even use the adapter, but you could end up using the adapter if you wanted to, but you're going to have a longer screw. So essentially what they made here is a tape measure adapter. This is what he really wanted me to test out and see how it worked. Same thing as this right here. You have these two little notches right there. That's going to cause, whenever you stick it on your tape measure, your teeth are going to kind of go into those notches and keep it from being able to spin. So with the Irwin, you could slide this in there to fill in that space if you were having an issue. But again, I've been able to put mine on there just without it altogether, but that is something you could do. So like the Milwaukee here, this is the screw that was in it. This is the clip that was on it. See, Milwaukee has a little hole, and then it has a screw hole. So whenever you go to put the Nolster on there directly, this was one of them, and I've got a video going through several tape measures with this one, but whenever you go to put this one on there, sometimes it was hitting that little hole, not working out, and that's kind of what he's got right here. That's going to fit over that hole and kind of space that out, and then allow your teeth to go inside those two slots and engage. And then I had to use a longer screw. Man, what did I do with the longer screw? I think it's this one here. That's with my Irwin. I'm going to try not to lose all these screws and get them all messed up. I think it was this one here. I had to swap over to a little bit longer screw because I'm going through the adapter and going through the Nolster. Let me scoot this out. And that makes it end up working on the Milwaukee with that adapter. I think this was one of the ones I said it couldn't work on last time. I know for sure, like if you run the Milwaukee studs, it's not going to work because you can see where that screw location is. So like anything, if you put the Nolster on there, it's going to be crazy high and not going to work out right. Let's see, it works. Bracket alone will work for the spider pins to work on all models of the M12, possibly, yeah. Let's see, because it's a prototype. It's not on their site yet, Jonathan said. Okay, like I said, I should have went and looked, but I didn't. So main thing you want to look at for a tape measure, on your tape measure to know if Nolster is going to work or not, one is that hole in the middle of my tape? Because like I said, this one's a no-go. Then you got to look at this one's off or set down in there. Again, I could do it with this one without doing it, but you can use that adapter now, like on this Milwaukee, how that one's set in there, and now it works with that one. Take this one out. And that goes with this and that. The Crescent Lufkin are right here, so maybe you run these. This was one of them that I couldn't really get to work before very well because you can see those two little extra nubs stick up. If you stick that in there, your teeth kind of hit exactly where those nubs are. You could put it on there before, but it never really worked right. Versus now, you take this one adapter that he sent me, it kind of builds out past those nubs, so your teeth are still going to hit those nubs, but it's going to kind of make everything flat around it, and that ends up working out a lot better too. And that one takes the same screw as what I just put in the Milwaukee one. And I got to get better where I'm sticking my screws. I don't think it was this one. Oh, it's in the Nolster. So same screw as what I just used in the Milwaukee. So that one works good on there too. And again, I did it before. Again, I'd have to go back and watch my old tape measure video of this. I did it before. I want to say I said it would work on this one, but it still didn't work exactly right. That little adapter right there makes a world of difference on this and as far as locking that one up. So Lufkin is good. Do any of the clips or adapters come with the screws? So I think that they send you, I'm not positive, but you might want to email before you do. So this is what he sent me in this package. And I bought all my Nolsters early on, so I don't know what they're putting in the package with the new ones now. Like, whenever I first got mine, they didn't really have a solution for the surge. I just ended up putting it on mine. So this is what he sent me as far as to test out, which was this and some screws for the old gen and the new gen that are a little bit longer. And then the screws, he just sent me several different screws with the tape measure prototype, which is the little piece that's on the back of this right here. But like I said, basically what you got to do is take the screw out of your tape measure. Sometimes it works, like probably 7 out of 10 times you can just reuse that same screw. But sometimes you need a little bit longer. So if you get the same one that's goes with it that's a little longer. So that was Lufkin. Again, this one doesn't work. So Fast Cap was another one that I couldn't get to work really well because this is the screw that came with it. This sets on there, but you have that little nub. So whenever I stuck a Nolster on there before, you kind of, the nub pushed you out right here. So same thing with this adapter. We're going to take out the original screw. Pretty much if you end up using this adapter, you can bank on having to use a longer screw. So that goes there. So if I take the adapter, slide it on, so now you've kind of flattened out over top of that little hole, and then now you've also got spots for your teeth to go into. So that's the regular. Here's the slim profile, and I think I had to go with this screw right here, which is a no, it's not that one. It might have been the same as the Milwaukee. Let me see. It was a fine thread, but I think a lot of times too, if you have a fine thread, you can go to a coarse thread when you change it, and it will work. No, it's not that one. I had a screw sitting out here that was going to work with it. Maybe I used the original screw. Let me see if maybe I did use the original screw on this one. Because most of them I stuck a screw out if it didn't work. Yeah, so the Fast Cap, you can just use the same screw, even with the adapter. The one that I took out, that works. So again, now that is tight as I'll get out. Because your teeth are going down in the adapter. The adapter's also covering up that little extra nub out there, so that makes it flat, and that's way better. You know, Fast Cap even kind of has something like it, but nothing even compared to that right there. So that was that one. Now the next one's a Milwaukee one that I think I want to say it didn't work on the last time. So let me put that screw back with this one. That goes there. So this one, Milwaukee magnetic tape measure. It's kind of got a weird setup that it's got 3 holes and you got 2 nubs up there. And if you put this Nolster on there, same thing, like it ends up going in there, but it's kind of a little bit weird. But if I use the adapter, hopefully I don't end up breaking this. It actually sucks onto that Fast Cap one quite a bit. If you put the adapter on, I think, or no, this one's one where I don't use anything. That's what it is. So the original Nolster, it stuck out real far past it. I just don't like the way that looks, and it kind of spun on me. But for some reason, the slim profile, it fits back in there and fits around those nubs because it's so close that it actually works a little bit better on this one. And I want to say I used this screw right here. Yeah. So because it's got those nubs and because this is the slim profile, those nubs are now actually kind of acting like a stop as far as for letting it spin back and forth, whereas the old version had such a big gap. That's why I didn't like it on that. So it's kind of got a built-in little adapter as far as keeping it from turning a lot. So you could go and use one of these if you wanted to. That's that one. Tough built. So this one's one I've been running the Nolster on anyways, but you can kind of see the teeth, how it's kind of engaged in there. But I was able to use it just as it was. The Tough Built and the Irwin are the two that I've been using the most. So you can just take the screw out of it on the Tough Built. And just screw it directly in. Again, these two tape measures right here are the two I've been currently running the most with a Nolster on it. The Irwin's my favorite so far. So Tough Built works without an adapter. And if you put the adapter on there, it would actually maybe mess it up because it's kind of built up a little bit weird. So, but again, you can do that without it. So here's the tape measure that everybody probably runs more than anything. Very much like the Irwin. You can see my teeth marks in there where I have run a Nolster before, and I've run one without an adapter, and it fits in there and it kind of stays. But you can, if you put the adapter in there, I do feel like it kind of makes it better because it gives you a spot for your teeth to kind of stay and not turn as much. And I did have to swap to a longer screw than what was in it originally to go through the adapter. Let's see that. If that adapter fills in all that gap, and then your teeth go in those two little slots, so it's really going to be pretty hard. I don't have that tightened down all the way, but it's definitely not going to, you'll get a little bit of wiggle on it maybe, but it's definitely not going to turn. And then DeWalt is exactly the same as the Stanley FatMax. So again, big difference between slim and regular on a tape measure. That's not crazy different. You know, just that tab is the main thing. But for sure, I'll be buying a handful of these and putting them on my tape measures because I'd much rather have this on my tape measure than this. And surprisingly enough, whenever I first did it, I was like, man, that's going to be great. I'm never going to drop my tape measure again. Again, if I'm wearing my vest, I can just clip it on anywhere. But it really doesn't get in my, I thought it would get in my way quite a bit. But in all honesty, my hand never really is on that side of my tape measure for the most part. I mean, every now and then some weird occasion comes up where I've got to set this close to a floor or something like that. But it's very few and far between, even as big as the old model was, that's actually got in my way. And then now it's going to be even less with that newer model right there. So let me check the chat and see if y'all got any questions or asked anything. Clint said, I know you're showing new products, but what's the benefit of adding and this using stock clips? So let me see if I can show you something. Let's see. So let's say Let me find something with a regular belt clip on it. My pants don't have pockets on them right now, so I can't really, and that's gonna, I don't know if I'll be able to shake that, so let me find something. It's a little thin too. But let's just say hypothetically I stick my belt clip on. I don't have that all the way down because it's going to get real tight. And that's definitely thicker than what pants would be. But I mean, no matter what, if I go up and down a bunch or I'm turning, doing whatever, this is more likely to fall off. I mean, it's not going to fall off that because that's very thick and hard. But this right here, you clip this on, and I don't care what you do to it. Like there's no way that this is going to come off of here unless you do this right here. Like, it's no chance whatsoever. Like, I have never dropped a single thing using a Nolster, which is why I love it on my tape measure, because that's probably the thing I drop the most. Same thing even with these drill pins. They work really well in the holster, but the problem with that is I've got a holster in one spot on my vest, or whether it's in my pocket, on my belt, whatever, where I can clip these on anything I want to. All the webbing on my vest, I can put it in my back pocket, front pocket. So it's just a whole lot more user-friendly or safer in certain situations. I pretty much use mine on whenever I'm working off ladders and stuff, wearing my vest. How does it work on something like Veto tape clip holder? Does it still latch on? So I've got here, I'm pulling up as hard as I can. I mean, it does slide off, but I mean, I was really, I'm pushing on it way harder than anything that's going to happen to you. Like if you just absolutely just got stuff in that still. I mean, it's not coming out unless you absolutely force it off by pulling it, and that's way easier than definitely a regular tape, or way harder than a regular tape measure. Or again, just come in there and pull it. Same thing with the older model. Let's try that on there. It's basically like I can, even without clicking that, I can just push it on there. And I can pull it off, but definitely way more effort than just a belt clip. Like, it's not going to come off unless I forcefully pull it off or I put my thumb on there and open that up. I wish it had a hole for a nail or storage on the pull lever. I guess I'm going to return it and go for the slim. Yeah, the only advantage to me of the bigger one is if you want to run here. Let's see if is this the big one? Yeah. So this is the, I can't remember what the name of it is. Is it the Grub Nub or Grubbin Hub or something, Guten something or other? You can take this and put that in there and then slide that. I think it goes like that and locks into place. And then you can take bits and store in it as well. I never use these, so it doesn't affect me. I just basically, I took these off every single one of mine. So the adapter for sure makes it better on some of the tape measures, because like I said, it even makes it better on the FatMax. I was able to use my FatMax without it. Same thing on the Irwin. if I put it in there, it probably will be better if I really wanted to use it on the Irwin. I'm gonna actually go ahead and put this one slim one I've got on the Irwin because that's where it's gonna go anyways on my 16. Yeah. So I can take this adapter. It fits inside the slot on the Irwin as well, and it probably will make it a little bit less likely to turn. But again, I haven't really had a problem with it anyways, so. I think I need a little bit shorter. Yeah, so that makes it, basically just fills in that little extra space. But again, I've been running it without an adapter for quite some time, and it sucks back in that space anyway. So again, there's slim and regular. The bit thing's what you meant earlier by too much. Yeah, that's kind of the way I feel about it, Clint. My chat's not, there we go. Let's see. Do any of your factory tape clips work like a flashlight cap clip? No, none of them are like backwards, I don't think. None of my factory ones. I've got a whole drawer full of factory clips. I hope I can remember which ones. I tried to keep putting my screws back with the tape that they were in. Hopefully I can remember which ones go to what. Groovin nub, Thomas said. What's up, Kiltronics? A rubber washer still, then rubber sandwich will have it lock on too. I've adapted one before. Yeah, that little this little adapter that they give you here, it works out pretty good. Like I said, I've got it on this M12, and it's making it to where it's not going to spin as much. Like, it still has that little turn, but it's not spinning. Like, I can't make it spin all the way around, which is what some people were having issues with on the Surge. My buddy, in fact, I gave him a Nolster. He had the M12 Surge, but he doesn't have the boot, and he gave it back to me and said that he couldn't keep his from spinning around on him. But I never had that problem. But you can also see where the teeth were digging in on my boot, so that's kind of what was helping it on mine. But this right here kind of fixes that to where it doesn't matter. Because those teeth fit around that now, and it won't let it turn. So all in all, everything he sent me, as far as answering Scott, yes, the slim works on the M12 with the boot with this adapter, and then fast cap with your adapter, the one that he sent me, works good. It works good on Stanley FatMax. It works good on the Irwins. Works good on some of the Milwaukees. So like this one here, whatever this one's called, the 48220425, because that's very much set up a little bit like the fast cap. And then it also, the slim one without the adapter makes this one more usable, the 48227116. That's a magnetic Milwaukee, because the slim actually fits around these and locks it into place, whereas the original version kind of set out ahead of them, and so that would let that spin, but that slim version set right back in there and kind of uses those as stops. Tough build had already worked on without an adapter, and again, you could use it on several of these without the adapter, but for the most part it makes it a little bit better. The adapter made the Crescent Lufkin one. That ended up working out well on this one too. And I think that's all the tapes that I had, or at least I had in here in my garage, and then the ones I saw in my truck. I've got some other DeWalt ones and stuff, but they're the same ones as this one right here. So I think that answers all the questions as far as what I was going to ask him. So I'm going to send him this and let him watch that. But I just decided I was going to do this as a live instead of filming a video. It was going to be way too much editing of me taking stuff on and off and all that stuff. And I'm being lazy. What's up, Jeff? What Irwin tape is that? straight line 25, and I've got the 16. Of course, I really like these. They've become my favorite ones, but I think they're also my favorite ones because I was able to get the Nolster to fit on them really easily, and they work really well. But I do like everything about them. You know, the tapes are nice, double-sided. It's got this right here to put your finger. I like everything about it. But of course, Lowe's quit carrying them now, so if I want some, I got to buy them on Amazon or eBay or something. Wonder if it works for M18 drills. So let's see. I don't have one handy, but I'll show you why I don't like it. So with this right here, so whenever I go down to get this, like say I've got this clipped onto something on an M12, the location of this, and it's whenever I go in to grab my drill, my thumb, I can just automatically press this in and then pull it off, and I'm ready to go on an M12. Versus the location, if you put one on an M18, you know, you're gonna have to put it like this, I guess. I would assume, yeah. So it's gonna go like this. This is a high torque. So whenever you go to undo this, whatever you've got it clipped onto, you're always gonna have to, you know, you'd probably have it on this side, I guess. You're gonna have to put your thumb on there to lift it out, and then you're gonna have to do something, you know, to flip this up to start using it every time. So that's why I don't run it on my M18. It will work on them though. I mean, it's the same difference. You just put a screw in there and change out the belt clip and all that kind of stuff. You can put one on it, but I just don't like the location of all the belt clips on an M18. Doesn't work out right for having to do something with your thumb to undo it, because you're gonna have to push that in, pull this up, and then flip it to start using it every time. So I don't know if that makes sense or not, but that's why I don't put it on my M18 stuff. I like the pins better on the M18 if they work on it, because then I can just use my thumb, but the way that it is, I'm grabbing my tool by the handle and then just flipping it. Like I said, I don't know if that makes sense or not, but can this go on anything else besides tools and tapes? I don't know. I guess anything that you've got a place where you can put a screw in it. Again, it's kind of got, you have to have room for these teeth to engage into something or grab a hold of something to keep it from wanting to spin. You can kind of, like I said, you can see on this Stanley, since it's yellow, like you can see where I screwed that and those teeth dug into this, but it would still end up spinning except for this Stanley being built out like this. If this was just flat and I put this on there, I could tighten it down, those teeth would engage, but it would eventually start wearing a big circle where those teeth are. So that's the idea behind those M12 adapters, is keeping that from happening. So you got to kind of have something where that fits around something, basically, if that makes sense. How does it work on something? Oh, see, I already got that. Let's see. The new Milwaukee tapes are something worse than the older ones. I personally don't like Milwaukee tape measures either, Matt. I'm not a fan of them. I've had all these in my drawer out here in my garage, and I've even got some still in the package over there. I just don't ever I don't use them much. For one, that right there is a deal breaker for me now. Like, now that I've got a two-sided tape, like if I open up a tape measure and it only has it on one side, you might as well say forget it to that. I'm not even going to use it. But the stud ones weren't as bad, but basically, like I said again, as soon as I used a Nolster on a tape measure, like even if this is a nice clip, it's not the Nolster on a tape measure. Now that I've used one, I can't go back to not using one, which is why my title, I said, if there's some tape measure company out there, like, I mean, I'm sure Stanley won't or whatever, but somebody should be contacting, like there should be a collaboration between Nolster and one of these tape measure companies and say, hey, put my product on the back of every single one of your tape measures and we'll make some deal or whatever. And I think it would be a win for both of them. Like if somebody went and bought their tape measure, with this on the back of it and used it for a little while, they would be like, that is awesome. And then it would cause them to sell more tape measures, you know, all that kind of stuff. Do they work with DeWalt drill and impacts? I want to say, I don't own any, so I don't know for sure, but I'm trying to think about my, because these have been out for a while. Like it was one of the first things I did on my channel whenever I bought these, because I bought them, I found them, I saw them on like a short or something like that, and I ended up buying a bunch of them, trying them out, and I really liked them. And then I found the spider drill pins. Like I said, these two things right here are the only two things I primarily use, and I go back and forth depending upon the job. But I want to say they're made for DeWalt, Makita, a bunch of other brands. You'd have to look at their website, or I've got it in that old video what all they said they fit. But like I said, they could even say they fit more stuff now. I haven't bought one in a long time, because whenever I first bought mine, I think I bought like 2 5-packs. I think I had 10 of them or something like that. And then they sent me some, and I gave some away. So I ended up with a bunch of them. And like I said, I pretty much run them on my tapes. And then I've always got one in my truck in a drawer to throw onto this for certain jobs where I prefer it over this pin. And sometimes I prefer the pin over the Nolster, so I swap back and forth. What's up, Elliot? Clint said, so did you say you had to buy these from a site, or where can you buy these? You can look on Amazon for the original ones, but he was saying something about they were having an issue with Amazon or something. So I'm not real sure if they're still available or not on there. I want to say they are, because I think I saw them on there the other day. But the slim profile ones, whenever they come out, I think he's going to call them the Sub-Compact. I think those are going to be on their website. And he said something about some different colors and, you know, stuff like that as well that they're going to come out with. I believe certain Tajima tapes have a similar locking clip design. The made in Japan ones maybe. Yeah, the Fast Cap has something that's a little bit like it, you know, but not really. It's definitely slimmer. You know, you got that little, I'd have to put the screw back in there, which I need to go ahead and do that anyways before I lose it. I think it's, I might have already lost it. I remember it was a little dude. Right there, maybe. It kind of does it, but no, that ain't it. I remember it being a small one. I think it is that one. I think I had that one in the wrong spot. Yeah. This one has like a clip on it, but it's still not the same. Like I can pull this one off my pants. Like if I put this one in my pants pocket, it definitely holds better than one that doesn't do what it does. Like the Fast Caps have that little kind of spring action. And that's better to me than some of the original clips as far as pulling off. But I'm telling you right now, I can put this in my pants pocket and it is not coming out unless I do this right here. Like I can sit there and just jerk on it. Irwin looks the best with that clip. Yeah, I like it. It's been my favorite tape so far. I'm gonna have to find me some more and get me some for whenever these eat the dust. I tell you, this one right here has been a good one too, but I've about worn it out. It's getting a little rough. It's been a pretty good tape. I think I got this one on clearance at Home Depot or at Lowe's one day, and of course that's whenever I found it, because I actually really like this one because this has all the same stuff. It's magnetic, has the measurements both sides. It has a button that you press right here, which I actually like this better than just sticking my finger in this, because sometimes, you know, this gets going in pretty fast. You rub your finger just right, that could get you. This has got a button right there, but I don't think they sell these anymore. So, and see, this is a perfect example of what I was saying. If you don't have something to kind of keep those two teeth from spinning, that's what it will end up eventually. Like if your screw loosens up some, you'll end up with a circle where that teeth kind of grab a hold. So that's kind of what they're trying to fix, I think, with that adapter plate. Bad storms came through earlier. No power here. M18 and M12 fan saving the day. I got the pike out fan today. Does it make any difference if the M12 is Gen 2 or Gen 3? So Gen 3 is here with the original Nolster. You got that gap right there. The slim profile. If you use this adapter right here, which if you go back and watch this later, you'll see. That makes those teeth hook onto there. And then they give you screws for Gen 2 and for Gen 3. So I run it on my Surge. I only put it on, this is my garage impact. I just put this on here so I'd be able to stick those two beside each other earlier whenever I won't leave that on this one. And see, a lot of people had problems with the Gen 2 or the Surge whenever they first came out. I made mine work, but again, I think it's because I had my boot. But a lot of people had problems with it spinning, and I think that fixes it. Pike out fan rocks. Benefit for the original, or are they going to go slim only? The only benefit I can see would be if you want to run that right there with it. Other than that, I mean, it's going to stick out farther. Now there might be some clearance. I think that's the reason why he was wanting me to try it with my boot, because my boot makes the rubber sticks out a little bit farther. And you can see whenever I put this in there, it's kind of lifted up a little bit right there because that's catching. But whenever I put a screw in there, it sucks it down. So if I didn't have that boot on there, this would sit flat in there just like how it does on the other ones, I think. Well, here, let me see. This is a newer model though. But I personally think the slims would be the way to go. Maybe he'll email, if he emails me and tells me, I might email him and I'll ask him, does he know about when the slims are going to hit? And then I'll make a post if he responds back to me. I can't remember where they're out of. Let's see. Denver, Colorado. So my hat would be backwards probably. I'll swap this around. So I'm Tahiti Rabra. Tahiti Rabra. Now I got tape. Now I've got a tape measure graveyard, which luckily all I got to do is put these back in my truck. The rest of them can get dealt with whenever. So a little bit of an impromptu live. I had all this set up here. I was going to film and make a video, and then I was just like, there's going to be a lot of questions asked. I just as soon do a live and see if y'all had any. You can just ask me. I don't think I had anything else. I just got an email from somebody that's sending me something today that's going to be pretty sweet, though. Do you have an affiliate link to the Slim profile? No, I think they asked me if I wanted to be an affiliate with them a long time ago, but I'm not signed up with them. It'd just be on their website. I think that I think they send you the Milwaukee adapters but I'm not positive. I think they send those with it. But again, I haven't bought one in forever, so I don't know what comes in a new one. Like if you were to buy even the regular one today, I don't know what they give you in it. Now, back when I bought mine, you got different screws for different drills, like whether it was M18, DeWalt, Makita, whatever else. And then they even came out with an anti-rotation thing for the M12, I think. I didn't have to use it on mine because I only put it on my Surge. I don't run it on anything else. But I don't know for sure, Clint, what they send you with it. The tape measure thing is a prototype. He's wanting to know what all it worked on and wanted me to try it out and see. And again, they're going to basically give you, inside of mine, he gave me several coarse thread, fine thread, a little bit longer screws. Like I said, some of them, the Irwins and the Stanleys for the most part, without the adapter, I was able to just take the screw out and put them right back in and just use the same screw. Some of them I had to use a little bit longer screw. And then some of them, they're basically like a plastic hole for the most part on several tape measures. So if it is a fine thread and you've got a little bit coarser thread that's a little longer, if you swap it out, it still grabs and works out fine. It's going to last as long as that tape measure probably will. If you use tape measures like I do anyways, I go through them like crazy. Just bought a 3-pack of the regular size ones, LOL. Like I said, I like them on my tape measures 100%. Like I don't even want a tape measure that doesn't have them. And then I like them on my Surge. I like them on my M12 stuff in certain jobs. Like if I've got my vest on and I've got all that webbing all over me, I can take that Nohlster clip and just sit there and, like, if I'm working on something right here and I can't really reach all the way down because I'm holding something, I'm on a ladder awkward or something, I can take and clip this right here on my vest at this point, finish doing whatever I need to do with 2 hands, and then get it right back off. Whereas with the drill pin, if my holster is all the way down on my side, I have to take my drill back down to wherever that holster is. So there's certain things where I prefer the Nohlster, certain things where I prefer the drill pin. They're both very good. Like both of them are worth having. And it doesn't take that long. I take a little bag like this, and in my truck I've got a Nolster and the screw that I use with my M12, and I just keep them in there, and then, you know, it doesn't take 10 seconds to swap it out if you just take that time. If it's going to make your job a whole lot easier, it's worth spending 10 seconds, you know, to swap something. Just jumped in. Can you slow the slim real quick? So here's the original. See that big gap right there? And then there is the slim. It gets rid of all that. Basically, they're getting rid of that piece where you had to have it to hold the bit holder, the grooving nub or whatever somebody called it a minute ago. You know, you had to have that extra space to slide that thing in there if you wanted to use that on your drill. So they got rid of a lot of it. You know, big difference. I'm looking over here at my iPad when I look away, so. First thing I did was remove the bit holder. Yeah, I've never used it on mine, and maybe that's what they've realized. A lot of people don't use it. I don't like, you know, this is big enough hanging off the side as it is. That's about as big as I'd want, and then to have the bits and everything, it just gets a little bit cluttered in my opinion. Not that it really takes up that much more room. It's just seems like it's too much going on for me, and then to swap stuff out like that all the time. I've usually also got a magnet on my vest though. Maybe is why I don't. I'd rather take, and, you know, like this isn't exactly it, but let's say I've got a magnet on my vest like this. It's easier for me to pull a bit off like that than it is for me to pull it out of like a rubber sleeve and, you know, get it to break free from that and put another one back in where I can just take and throw it right on my magnet. I'd 10 times rather have a magnet to hold my stuff than a bit holder like that. So like I said, if you've got some of the regular ones or you got them coming or whatever, they don't get in my way on the tape measure. Like it never has bothered me that it's down there, because maybe if you're, I don't know, maybe if you're left-handed, I guess it would. So that might be a thing. I'm right-handed, so that would be a thing if you grabbed your tape measure like this and you go out like that. I don't know if you're left-handed, if you go this way with a tape measure, if it changes your direction or not. I've never paid attention to a left-handed person doing it, so that never gets in my way. Very rarely, like I said, unless I'm trying to set something on a floor or something, would be about it. But the slim's still going to be nicer. But I'm saying if you've already got some of these and you haven't tried it on a tape measure yet, I'd put one on there and try it for a little while. I think you're going to like it. Well, anybody have any other questions? Definitely get some for tapes and maybe a couple to put on tools. What are your selling points on the Irwin tape measures? I'm trying to find some newer, better ones. Just so far, they've held up fine for me. Like I'm rough on tape measures. I'm just going to tell you up front, I'm pretty rough on them. I go through them pretty often, and these have lasted probably longer than most of them. I think I am on my second one. Maybe I did have one. I had one just here recently. I think it was my other 16-footer where the tape broke off. Like it got a small tear in it, and then, you know, within a matter of a little bit, it tore off. I like the two sides. It doesn't have the fractions on it like the, let's see, I think Tough Built does. So, you know, it doesn't have the 1/8 inch, 16th, and all that. That's not a deal breaker for me. I don't mind if it has it. I don't mind if it doesn't. You know, it doesn't bother me either way. I kind of actually prefer it not to. It's not as busy looking, but the tapes are really nice. Double-sided. It does have a lock right there if you want to. I never even have to use that on this tape because it's got that finger spot. So like I can just sit there and hold it in place and stop and start it as much as I want to just by sticking my finger in there. So basically the two sides and that right there are something that I look for in my tape measure now. And then the tape is just seems like it's pretty good, and the housing seems good. I'm sure they're all made by, you know, between DeWalt, Stanley, and this right here, I'm not too sure they're not all made pretty similar by the same people. All the backs of them and the tape measure clip and all that are like identical. Still doing a live Thursday. I'm gonna plan on it unless something happens. Irwin hard plastic, more rubbery. It's kind of got a nice rubber feel to it. Like that's all rubber. Matter of fact, I think the whole entire thing is covered in some kind of the only thing that's got a non-textury feel is just this little sticker right here. Everything else feels like a kind of like a Klein screwdriver handle type, you know, feel to it. Like I said, it stinks because Milo's quit carrying them. That's where I was getting them at. And then you can still get them on, I think they're on Amazon, and then they're on eBay. So I don't know if they're not carrying them anymore. Figures that's probably going to be the case. I like them better than FatMax Clint, but that's just me. My FatMax doesn't have two sides. That's the deal breaker for me on the FatMax, and it also doesn't have anything here, so that's what makes me like it better. It's like FatMax are good tape. Like they last a long time. You can beat the fire out of it, but the features on the Irwin I like a little bit better. Here's a 25-foot FatMax, and there's a 25-foot Irwin. Pretty close. Irwin might be a hair bigger. But it's also got like a lanyard loop right there too. That's kind of what makes it a little bit bigger. But you don't need the lanyard loop. You put a Nolster on it. But I'm gonna go ahead and get off here, I guess. Get inside, get me some water, and then bringing you out here, and it's hot, 90 degrees. Get back inside. So I already took my shower, so I don't want to have to shower. Make fun of me for saying shower. I already took my shower. so I don't want to get too sweaty. How does the Nohlster clip on your Veto bags? Oh, where went my heat gun? So this kind of clip doesn't have a lot of space, but you can still stick it down in there. And then, like I said, you can pull them off of those since it's metal. Like it eventually, if you pull real crazy hard, like I'm giving it to it right now, it will eventually pop off maybe, but it takes a ton of effort. Like, and then again, and the slim's definitely going to be better for that too. So like there's the slim. There's the original. Gosh, I'm dropping everything. When will it be available, Rob? Rob and Nissen? I don't know. He told me whenever he emailed me back when he sent me these, and I've had them for a little while. I finally had the time to come out here and kind of play with them. He said that in a couple of weeks he was going to be doing a small run of them with some different colors, but they're only going to be on Nohlster.com, like for now. So you have to go there and see. I'm going to email him and send him this live so that he can see what all I tried it out on. Because again, that's the whole reason why I'm mostly doing this, to show him what tape measures it worked on, how it worked with my surge and the boot. And then I just decided, might as well let you guys see it, know that it's coming out too. But I'm going to email him and send him a link to this, and then I'll ask him if he has any kind of idea on when it might be available. And then if he gives me some kind of answer, I'll do a post. I think I just got the last 2 Irwins on Amazon. I was actually just thinking about going in there and getting some myself. So you probably snagged them from me. I'm actually watching some on eBay, to be honest with you. I've got some on watch on eBay. It stinks, man, whenever you find something you really like and then they just quit carrying it. It's like I said, that Tough Built one that I got on clearance for like $5 has been one of my favorite tape measures too. And of course, I found it on clearance, so that means they're not going to have any of them. But I'm going to go ahead and get off here. Hopefully y'all enjoyed something or other on it anyways. It's another time to go live. It saved me a lot of editing time. Even though I've been on here for 62 minutes, it would have still taken me longer to film it, go inside, edit something, and do all that stuff. And then that way, if y'all had questions, I was going to be able to answer them anyways. So, but appreciate y'all coming in here and being a part of it. 52 people at the moment. I think I saw 60 something at one point in time. So that's pretty good for last minute ordeal anyways. But we'll see y'all on the next one. No walk of shame.